Hello and welcome to Tarot Sherpa. I'm Christine, and today I will be doing a reading using the Enchanted Förhäxa Tarot by MJ Cullining. I've just completed a video reviewing this tarot deck, so if you're interested in a tarot deck review, the link for that will be in the description box below. So, spring is right around the corner, and I'm looking to give out a little bit of insight of perhaps how we can prepare for the coming season. So, a couple more of these. And we'll cut the cards. I'm going to do an insight spread, which I found in Benobel Wynn's book, Holistic Tarot. I will put a link in the description box below about that book. Very, very good tarot book. So, looking for insight for spring, let's look at the inaugural energy for spring. Oh, wow, we're going to go with the Ace of Air. So spring is going to be a breath of fresh air. Oh, couldn't we all use that? I know I could. All right, so if we have the Ace of Air here, we're dealing with a spirit of truth, honesty, openness, transparency. We have spiritual aspirations, and we have the energy to be able to enact that. So the aces are a position of inauguration or renewal. So this will be about taking hold of a new idea and going forward with it, having the potential to go forward, or polishing up something that perhaps had been neglected or set aside, or just needs to be renewed and moving forward with that. So spring is going to be a time of powerful energy, of potential. So what are we going to do with this potential? What are our situations we're going to deal with this? Ooh, temperance. Temperance, having to balance perhaps competing ideas. And maybe there's more than one thing that's going to need a little renovation in our lives or our psyches or our spiritual activity. And so spring is going to need to balance perhaps logic and emotions, passions and fears. Let's see where we go with this. All right, so what's in the opportunity? What's in the opportunity realm for all of this? The Hermit. We have the Hermit as an opportunity. So this could mean either finding some spiritual guidance, going back to the Ace of Air being a spiritual card, or it could mean going within and, calibrating your own internal compass towards new ideas or towards an idea of renovation and renewal, rather than looking back at the winter of quiet and drudgery. So the Hermit could be a guide for us, or it could be you being a guide for someone else, or going within and having that time of recalibration. Okay, so what's at the root of this? What are the roots of our spring? What is the root? Queen of Water, Ace of Earth. So we have the Earth of Water, the Queen's representing the Earth suit, the Earth of Water, and the Ace of Earth. The Queen of Water, Ace of Earth. So we have a look at these right there. Yeah. So we have an Ace of Air in our energy, and we have an Ace of Earth in the root, or the source, the undercurrent. So as we're looking at what we're planting, Ace of Earth is a very fortunate card. Think of it as being our Ace of Pentacles. It's that seed that has the potential to grow in a very material way, in a very abundant way. And as I said, aces are potential. How are we grabbing onto this? So we have the Queen of Water. water representing emotions, emotions in the earth. Nurturing. What are we nurturing? There's a seed. In fact, she's got a sprouting seed right here. I don't know if you can really see that. So she's sprouting the seed, which takes water, it takes air, it takes earth. So the root of the spring is like, what are we nourishing? What are we nourishing that we want to grow in our material world? There we go. What are our lessons? Lessons to come through all of this. 8 of water. 8 of water. It's a little bit better. There you go. 8 of water. What do we need to depart from? Sometimes, like we have over here, we've got our ace of air, and we find ourselves in a situation where we're trying to take the really good idea, the thing that we need to be working on, and try and mix it in with everything else that we're already doing. That's temperance right here. So perhaps that's what's going on. Perhaps that's a good thing. Perhaps not. And what the opportunity is to dig into your own mind, or to get advice from a wise and experienced mentor that perhaps there needs to be a prioritization. Perhaps there needs to be a departure from something that seems good, but really isn't bearing fruit for you. It may be that you've started a project and you're like, I need to hand it off to somebody else, or I need to just set it aside for now because this isn't the season for it. I need to work on something. I need to focus my energy elsewhere. Not a bad thing. Just being judicious with the one resource that we have that we can't make more of, and that's time. We can make more of just about anything else, but time is one of the few things we cannot make more of. Had an interesting conversation with a mentor the other day who said also our authority is not something we can make more of. If you lose your authority, it's very hard to build it back up. Very interesting words from my mentor. Anyway, so the lesson here is, how are you using your time? How are you using your authority? How about that? We'll just work that in. Okay, so from above. So we have our below, our root. What's coming in from above? 9 of water, 4 of water. So we've got a lot of emotions going on here. So not surprisingly, spring can be a very emotional time as the sun is giving more energy to our hemisphere. Obviously, I'm in the northern hemisphere if I'm speaking this way. So we have all of this. We have water, Queen of water, 8 of water, 9 of water, 4 of water. All of this emotion in motion. If we think about this as circulating. 9 of water, 4 of water. So the lesson, so coming in, 4 of water represents we don't see everything that's coming in. We have our little mermaid here, and she doesn't see her friend running up behind her. Good news, bad news? Oh, looks like good news. She's smiling. Could be good news. Happy emotions. And then our 9 of water, our wishing card. So the things that we wish for, that we want out of the spring, that we want out of this coming season, be it a physical spring or an emotional spring. I mean, let's be honest, somebody could look up this video at any point in the year and say, well, spring's a long way. Well, how about an emotional spring? What is springing forth in your life right now? So moving away from the things that don't serve, but bringing in, allowing in the joys that will help us cultivate, the seeds that we're planting in spring. All right, let's look at some undercurrents. Let's look at some unconscious. What's in the unconscious? I'm going to pull from the bottom of the deck for the unconscious 8 of fire. Ooh, fire and water don't mix well. So let's look how this is going. It's 7 of fire. Ooh, so in the unconscious, ooh, we're boiling some water here. We've got our emotions coming from above, the higher influence, 9 of water, 4 of water, and then from below in the unconscious stirring, we've got 8 of fire, 7 of fire. Fire and water. Yeah, so now if we're looking at it this way, coming through, because I've got my girls up here. Let me see if I can get more of these cards to show on the screen. So I've got one circle of cards going over here, and we're going to go loop down into the other circle of cards. Yeah, water, water, and then fire. So I feel like things are boiling. It's a situation that's kind of boiling. So how do we have temperance in this? So 8 of fire, you think about things moving fast. They're moving quickly. They're messages, there's ideas, there's passions. It's all coming in very, very fast. And the 7 of fire means you kind of have to pick something and hold on to it. Grab onto one of those wands of fire, and hold on to it and keep your position. Hold your position. So we're coming back over here to the 8 of water, where you've got to have to leave something behind, but what are you going to hold on to in the 7 of fire? What do you leave behind? What do you hold on to? There is the critical decision. And you're going to find that out by going within. Going within or getting qualified advice. Could go either way. All right. Influences and outcomes. So the outcome, 6 of water, we'll come back to that because let's talk about influences. 9 of fire and the moon. Wow. Okay. That's cool. All right. All right. So let's talk about influences right now. The moon is an influence of uncertainty. The moon is a card that is kind of talking about confusion. It's talking about being creeped up on from behind by your fears. It's talking about not really having a clear picture of what's going on. It's talking about uncertainties and doubts. All of the things that are slightly obscured, but you know they're there, or what you think is there is not really what's there. It's just bigger in the shadows. In the moon, in the light of the moon. This card is very interesting in the illustration because there's a fairy looking into the reflection of water, and in the reflection is the same image that is used in the death card in this deck. It's very, very interesting. I don't know if you can quite make her out there, but yeah. So if you're thinking about confronting, for a lot of people, the ultimate fear is death, because there's a certain amount of uncertainty on the other side. Other influences we're looking at is the 9 of fire. And that can be a little bit of defensiveness, a little bit of putting up walls, a little bit of doubts. We have a fairy here with her fiery bow and arrow. She's in a defensive position. And she's got all these scary eyeballs looking at her through the forest. So definitely what's influencing the reaction to all of this emotional movement happening in spring is this fiery passion that has to have a focus. And there's that amount of uncertainty. What are you going to hold on to? What are you going to defend? What is the right choice? And I need to make a choice right now. So you go there, you go there. As we're looking at this card, and we can kind of look at an arrow right through here in the middle, we have to learn what to let go of, and we do that by seizing upon the energy of logic and truth, spirituality, higher level thinking. You get into this fire, you get more into the ego, you get more into the passionate more grounded level thinking, more ego-centered, being grounded over here is a really good idea, along with the Queen of Water and the Ace of Earth. Being grounded, and then getting that really good advice of how am I going to make all of this stuff work together? How do I do this? Meditation, go within, or go without and talk to a mentor, or somebody who can properly counsel you. Maybe not the crazy lady in the next cubicle over. Going all the way through the outcome to the Six of Water. Six of Cups, Six of Water. And that is a little bit looking backwards, because the Six of Water is a nostalgic card. It's about youthfulness, and so perhaps this is meaning going back to ideas you had a few years before. Go back to a drawing board maybe. But don't get caught in that nostalgia trap. That can be a little bit, that can be an illusion, because when we look back, we tend to sugarcoat a lot of the past, or we can conflate a lot of the past. It's very, very difficult to be objective about anything when we're in, our own skulls. So, as an outcome, departing from things that are not necessary, having to find that discernment that we get with the Hermit, and balancing all of this fire and water that just, it's very, we've got earth and water over here, we've got fire over here, and then we come out with a little bit of water. So maybe the fire is kind of, we've got 8 and 9 Queen of Water over here, and then we've got 8 and 7 of fire. And I think that's boiling us off a little bit down to a 6 of water. But let's not go too far. Gosh, there's even steam clouds in this card picture. The 6 of Water also has a connotation of innocence and sharing, and a little bit of give and take. There's definitely some, this is a very affectionate card in its emotional embrace there. So, I'm going to pull from Woodland Warden, since I've also just done a review of that one. And I like to use oracle cards to augment tarot readings on occasion when I really want to dig in and have a little bit more information. You can either use another tarot deck and throw out a few more cards. You can pull a few more cards from the tarot deck you're using, or you can grab an oracle. So let's just see. Tell us a little bit more about the 6 of Water, please. All right, I'll go with this. The dragonfly and the pansy. Balance. Yes, the theme of this is balance, and finding balance within and outside of yourself. Finding that Hermit being that temperance. Finding the Hermit being the temperance. Let's see if our little card here has, let's see, it looks like 48. Seven, 48. Okay. Perching with a delicate grace, the dragonfly is a symbol of balance. Like a dragonfly hovering above water, you're healthy and confident. Your physical skill is matched by your emotional and mental strength. How can we build more balance into the life? Well, I think that's what this is all about. We're balancing that fire and water. Balancing what needs to go and what needs to be retained. And really the key is grabbing onto that logic, back to that energy of the Ace of Air. The Ace of Air is where we find the power to have this balance. Because we're balancing the air and the earth, the fire and the water. And yes, there's uncertainties in the moon, but we have the Hermit. So if we think about the only two major arcana we've got in this spread are the Hermit and the moon. The Hermit shines a nice clear light on what is kind of mysterious in the moonlight. All right, so the key is balance. Balancing all those competing things. Okay. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I certainly have. And I thank you for watching. Hope to see you again. Goodbye for now.